on MCTV this week. ASAP holds a vote for events on campus, and Monmouth holds their Cultural Awareness Week. This week starts now. Welcome to MCTV This Week with Haley Turner. I'm Jane Simpkins. Battling racial inequality was the topic of a discussion on campus last week. Educator and author Tim Wise spoke on the true meaning of affirmative action. According to Wise, the perception is that the program is a quota system, seeking out certain numbers of minority groups for any organization, which in most cases is illegal. In truth, Wise says the programs are about seeking out and giving opportunity to qualified individuals from an overlooked or marginalized group.
Because of the civil rights movement, we have this historical obligation as a country to create equity, and for hundreds of years we haven't done that. If we want to maintain a healthy society, a healthy working economy, we can't have a society that's as unequal as it is right now. That's not a recipe for a sustainable economy. So we have to think about this if we want to have an economic system, political and social system that works for anyone.
According to Wise, people of color are twice as likely to be unemployed as whites and 3 times as likely to be considered poor.
With the recent suicide of a gay student at Rutgers, after his roommate posted a hidden camera video online, a big question confronting all campuses is how does a college establish a friendly environment for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer students? Transgender rights activist Mara Kiesling spoke on campus last week and said that respect is key and that the LGBTQ community needs to be taken into consideration in regards to campus policies.
Whether that's housing policies, I mean, that's something you hear about a lot, about where LGBTQ people get to live on campuses, or even, you know, what kind of funding they get for organizations, or whether or not bathroom facilities are okay, whether or not trans people are allowed to change their records. There are a lot of school policies that really make people's lives either easier or harder. And everybody can chip in to make sure that those policies are as good for as many people as possible.
Do you know how to handle diversity? Last Tuesday, as part of Cultural Awareness Week, Monmouth College's Intercultural Life Office sponsored a cross-cultural workshop dinner. Participants looked at how to handle different cultural clashes with the purpose of creating a better understanding of how culture affects the way we view others.
You have to be open to seeing the positive, enriching aspects in diversity. And that if you don't, you are doomed to a life that is exactly the same as when you started it. And life is supposed to be a process. And the people whom we meet around us enrich us, or can enrich us in such wonderful ways if we allow them in by being open.
To find out more about intercultural life, go to monmouthcollege.edu/life and click on the Intercultural Life tab.
Nature is all around us, and its health was the topic of the last Monmouth Associates Luncheon. Last Wednesday, biology professor Todd Tibbetts presented on the college's LeSueur Nature Preserve. Tibbetts spoke on how what they learned from the preserve teaches valuable lessons on caring for the land.
It sounds like they're getting some very good information out of the studies that they're doing. So I think it's it's nice to have that preserved area, but it also seems to be informative in terms of the work of at least the science department at the college.
For more information on the LeSueur Nature Preserve, you can contact Tim Tibbetts at tibbetts@monmouthcollege.edu.
Have you noticed the recent increase in gas prices? Energy and geopolitics have more than a little to do with it. Professor Eric Todd spoke about some causes of the sudden change in gas prices and how political unrest in energy-producing countries affects that price.
And so we're looking at where our energy comes from, where it could come from in the future, and also then the political consequences of that. I think in terms of energy, its prices are going to be going up. I think decisions are going to need to be made.
Todd's discussion wrapped up the Great Decisions lectures for the semester.
On Monday, the MC Classics department hosted a lecture that put archaeology on the top of the heap. Sarah Otten has been working in a city that died 600 years before she was born. For her doctoral dissertation in archaeology, she has been excavating the Keoki Mounds, the ancient city built by the Mississippians, who developed advanced cultures 5 centuries before Europeans stepped foot in North America. Otten is a PhD candidate in the archaeology, which, as it turns out, is not all about dust and bones.
Studying the buildings that were left behind, the artifacts, the sculpture, things like this. If you wanted to study people today, you're actually studying their garbage. And just to give you a good example of what this means, you could ask somebody, what are your eating habits, right? Or what's life like in the dorms for you? And they'll tell you, right? Or what happens in this room? And they'll tell you the kinds of things that happen in this room. But if you dump out the garbage can, you learn a lot more about what their actual eating habits are, what actually happens in this room. And so archaeology is the study of the physical objects that humans leave behind, which gives you a whole new perspective on the human condition.
The next lecture series will be Music, Healing, and Sacred Space in Ancient Greece and will be presented on April 10th in the Morgan Room.
Taking a look at some events on campus this week. Tonight, there's an after-hours event in Scotland Yard at 9:30. Tomorrow at noon, in the Highlander Room, Heather Brady will be the presenter of the International Luncheon. And finally, Greek Week events continue through the week and finish on Friday with the Greek Life Banquet.
Coming up after the break, the Fighting Scots baseball team took the field for their first doubleheader of the year. The Fighting Scots baseball team took on Aurora University in a doubleheader on Saturday. In Game 2, the Scots were not able to capitalize on solid pitching performances from freshman Nick Hull and sophomore Brent Burrows. Following a Nick Humphrey single, Alex Kemmer walked, giving the Scots runners on first and second with no outs. However, the next 3 batters were retired in order, and this would be the biggest threat from the Scots. The Spartans took both games with scores of 7-3 and 2-0.
We just couldn't generate anything. It was just very anemic with the bats. But we fielded the ball well, and we got good pitching. But baseball's 3 components.
The Scots men's baseball team hoped to rebound on Sunday with a doubleheader against the Milwaukee School of Engineering. By the bottom of the 5th inning, the Scots were already down 3-0. Shortstop Andrew Bardino was able to reach first base with a walk, but was put out trying to steal second. Moments later, outfielder Mitch Comstock was able to bring in the Scots' first run of the game by bringing in catcher Jordan Gaither. Milwaukee 3, Scots 1. Now in the 7th inning, the Scots were bringing the pressure to Milwaukee. With the bases loaded, third baseman Caleb Rule reached on a walk. Milwaukee 3, Scots 2. After Milwaukee scored an insurance run in the top of the 8th inning, Scots outfielder Mitch Johnson was able to reach on a double. Then shortstop Andrew Bardino took first on an error. Gaither drove Johnson home, but that was it, as the Scots come up short in Game 1, losing 4-3. The Scots split the doubleheader, winning the second game 9-2. The Scots play tonight in Rock Island against Augustana College. The Fighting Scots softball team also opened up their first home games of the season against the Cornell Rams. In the first game, the Fighting Scots had freshman Skylar Johnson on the mound, with 2 strikeouts in 4 innings. The Cornell Rams wouldn't back down, though, as Brittany Yost singled into center field. The Scots would pull it out and win the first game with a score of 3-2. In second game action, Alyssa Edler pitched a complete game in her first home start of her career. She got in some trouble early as pinch hitter Caleb Beisinger hit a single and would later on score. Edler would get some help from her offense as Brittany Forney hits a double off the fence. This would be followed by a Lauren Bergtresser home run. The Scots would win this game 4-2.
I think we got our hits at the times we needed to, and we really performed the way we needed to today. Hopefully we get better throughout the season.
The Scots will play their first home game against North Central on Saturday, March 31st. With winter winding down and spring sports gearing up, Kyle McEwen shows us how we can get our sports fix the intramural way.
12 different intramural sports are offered throughout the school year in either leagues or weekend events. In his 6th year as Director of Intramural and Club Programs, George Perry says students play for many different reasons.
Just seeing everybody engage, and the fun thing. I mean, you got a team back out here with somebody with a a dinosaur outfit on and dressed up and ready to go, and some are out there really just to have fun. Some are really out to win the T-shirts and stuff like that, which we give out to all the intramural champions and all the activities we do, and really just to see them doing something somewhat healthy, I hope, and certainly just engaging and develop good friendships.
According to Perry, volleyball is the most popular intramural sport and recently started its season.
Well, I'm actually on the volleyball team here, and so intramural volleyball is more fun because I get to goof around with my friends and I don't have to take it as seriously.
Students not only play on the teams, but they get the experience of coaching as well.
I just enjoy coaching them, and I've learned that, coaching them has allowed me to support them off the floor when I've usually been allowed to support them on the floor.
Between 700 and 800 students participate in at least one intramural sport throughout the year. For MCTV Sports, I'm Kyle McEwen.
Intramural volleyball concludes their season with playoffs in 2 weeks. For more information, visit monm.edu/wellness. The Monmouth College Intramural Floor Hockey League took to the courts last Wednesday in the Huff. The Intramural Hockey League's popularity increased from last year. Soon after intramural basketball, these athletes pick up the sticks. Teams consist of 5 players with no goalie. With ice hockey not offered here at MC, intramural floor hockey is an alternative for hockey athletes. Intramural floor hockey is played every Monday and Wednesday from 8 to 10 in the Huff. Haley and Jane will be back in a minute. Here are your scores for this week.
Hey, wait a minute. Where do you think you're going? Yeah, that's right. Over here, Tiger. Where do you think you're going without washing your hands? No one likes a dirty boy. Come on and turn me on. You know you want to. That toilet you just used, it carries 2 million bacteria per inch. Yuck. Ooh, yeah, that's it. Wash those hands. Ooh, soap. Yeah, use soap. Ooh, scrub them good. Come back and see me anytime.
ASAP gave students a chance to voice their opinion on Thursday. Students coming to dinner could let ASAP know which musical acts and comedians they want brought to campus next year. Students voted for categories including pop and country music performers. Each student who voted was entered to win a $50 iTunes gift card.
We did some forums at the beginning of the semester that kind of narrowed down what the students really wanted to bring, and then these are specific artists that they might be interested in, and hopefully next year we'll get a greater turnout at the events for all the voting that they do.
ASAP will be holding another voting session concerning novelty items and perspectives next Thursday from 4:30 till 6:30 in the main dining room.
That's it for MCTV this week. I'm Alex Miller.
And I'm Jane Simpkins. Thank you for joining us, and come back next week for another episode of MCTV.
And I'm Haley Turner. You can also watch us on the web by going to monmouthcollege.edu/MCTV. See you next time.